And to discuss this in detail, let's welcome Mr. Muthukumar Kandaswamy, the Director of Engineering, Garrett, to kindly join us onto the dais. And virtually, we will have Mr. Manish Gaur, the Head of IT, Patanjali Ayurved Limited. And our moderator for this session is going to be Mr. Amit Monga, the co-founder of ANS Commerce, to join us on the dais, please. Can we have Mr. Manish Gaur on virtual screen, please?
Hello everyone.
Hey, hi Manish, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Hello everyone. I'll just quickly do a quick round of introductions before we move on to the topic for the session. I'm Amit Monga, one of the co-founders at ANS Commerce. We are a full stack D2C brand enabler, and we essentially we have a stack across technology, marketing, supply chain, when we work with about 150 odd brands to enable e-commerce for them. I'll quickly pass on to Muthu Kumar to quickly introduce himself.
Hello. Good evening, everybody. So I'm Muthu Kumar, and I'm being as a director of engineering at Garrett. So Garrett is one of a leading e-commerce company and part of a Titan group, and I'm being with Garrett for about 5 years. And thanks for inviting me to be here.
Thanks. Manish, you want to quickly
Yeah,
introduce
sure.
yourself?
So, myself Manish, and I it's IT for Patanjali, and I'm working for Patanjali from the past 6 years.
Great. Quickly, we'll move on to the topic of the session. We're discussing today in terms of how to accelerate your brand in today's digital first world. And we're going to talk about how you can leverage technology to reach and engage the modern consumer. Starting with you, Muthukumar, given jewelry is a very highly differentiated category and it involves a high average order value, uh, there's a lot of trust and experience which is required for you to cater to your customers. So how does Carrot Lane leverage technology to reach to the consumer and then make it engaging for the consumer to uh, uh, sort of engage in your category?
Okay. So Carrot I think we started around 2008. It's actually digital first. We always focus on digital first as a motto or mantra. So we didn't open a store until 2012. So, and we had a store of, I think, 17 count by 2017. And by now, I think we are about 140 stores. So Carrot I think we are into the jewelry. I think it's always it's traditionally a value-driven segment where I think people who buys the jewelry for value or like they want to get it, and we wanted to add more design which they can make it like feel good and about the jewelry they are wearing, and on top of it, how do we add the emotions on top of the purchase, right? That's where we wanted to build the customer experience exciting as well as the emotions, right? To express their emotions. How do we do that? I think it's partly from the brand nature, and brand can be only built on the catalog and other marketing per se, and the other side is like on the technology. So if you look at Carrot I think we are one of the early trendsetters in terms of the VR, virtual reality, right? To solve the trial intent. Everybody wants to, even if you go to your home and ask your wife or like mother, like, do you want to buy a jewelry? They will always ask, like, I want to try the jewelry first and see the trial intent, right? So that's where I think we built the VR, and it's kind of a solution we tried, and we learned a lot, and we rethink about and relearn what we can improve. That's where I think we introduce a new channels also. One is the try at home, where you can get more the jewelry to your home and then buy it, or like live commerce, which they are talking about now, right? This is like, luckily I think we were starting before the pandemic, which we were able to capitalize as well. So within Carrot I think in terms of your question about reach and more engaging, right? I think we derive, I think 3C, we call it as like more customer segment and catchment area, and more about what you want to build the store point of view, right? That those three we try to connect it here, and where we have a multiple models which are like we run for the brand and marketing team to say where do you want to spend. Is it like do you want to spend on search, or like it may be in the remarketing, or it can be your own channel, or there are multiple models we built, and there is a rules engine we'll optimize it. That's one thing. Other is like we wanted to give a single view of the customer where it's not about store or online. We wanted to give it like anybody can see it's like Muthukumar, and he, what is this profile nature of it, right? With certain personal identifiable information which has to be kept secretly, right? What is the journey of it? That is one of it. And we built our own internal CRM tool, which we call it as one view. It gives the entire picture, right, about that one view of it. And data is like, it's accessible to everybody in the same view. That is one more in-house built, and it's ready. I mean, it's being leveraged across the board. So, and Carrot Lane per se, I think we connect the customer with the brand, right, through technology, and technology is always the empowering part. And currently, I think online influenced orders, right, it's almost 84% of the Carrot Lane orders actually online influenced. So that tells what is the impact, or like how to take the stakeholdership here.
Great. I think very interesting points you make, and we'll come back to some of the engagement tools that you have built. But moving to Manish, on the same topic, Patanjali has built a very successful brand, and they've built that in a market which is dominated by very large players, and the DNA of the customers, it comes from different route, it has a different positioning, target audience. So how does Patanjali's value proposition translates to consumers, especially when it comes to e-commerce?
Okay. So the most important is seeing the benefit of the customer. Okay. So how we are approaching the customer? It's a rural customer, or it's a customer who is into the metro cities. And definitely targeting both the customers. Rural customers because they want to buy the product, but definitely maybe we don't have the direct reach to those areas. Okay, so that they can directly buy through our e-commerce platform. So we have that. Basically, we have the two type of e-commerce platform. One is through the website, and second thing, there's the app that we call the Order Me app, that provides you the doorstep delivery with the other benefits of like COD, and definitely so the same kind of benefit with what other large e-commerce company they are providing, including the order tracking kind of that. Then definitely maybe if they are not happy with the product, they can send it back to us, or along with that we are providing the loyalty programs also. Okay, so that definitely e-commerce is playing a very important role in selecting the customer, and then definitely offering the product on the basis of the zone. Like again, I'm saying the same thing: rural areas, metro areas, and seeing the perspective of the product also. Okay, and then seeing the giving the benefit to the customer, like what is what the rural area customer is looking for, and how we can convert that customer into maybe from the low level customer to the high level customer, selling the more products to him. Uh, so so the e-commerce definitely. We have the like chain of the retail stores also, and then we have the both the things, and we are working towards increasing the online customer, not India, abroad also, and we are going global also. So currently we are providing the services into the multiple countries for the e-commerce, for the online business. So this what Mr.
Got it.
Anil.
Got it. So, as Muthukumar mentioned, their significant sale is influenced by online experience, either shopping online or experiencing online and then buying probably in stores. For Patanjali, I mean, this seems to me that the offline business would be the much larger chunk. And how do you see online playing a role in complementing that business, and especially from a technology standpoint, how do you leverage technology? And sort of an secondary question to that would be, do you believe in building in-house versus externalizing or using the already pre-existing stack in leveraging technology for bridging this online-offline gap?
So it's a kind of like hybrid things, right? So hybrid see, most important is again the same thing is understanding the customer requirement, seeing the customer benefit, and then providing the outcomes like meeting that requirement. How fast you can meet that requirement, right? Sometimes you can, like, if you have to meet the requirement very fast, because time is the money, and you have to be first in any domain. For that, definitely, sometimes you require to develop your own application also, and sometimes you have to take the help of the some service providers also. Okay, and same thing you can say into the case of the e-commerce business also, selling the products or reaching the customer through your platform and reaching the customer through the other platforms also. You can take the name of like other e-commerce provider, like big names are there in the market, and we have the tie-up with all these guys. We sell directly also, and we sell through the other customers also.
Got it. Muthu, same question to you. Choice of building in-house versus buying a technology or outsourcing it. What are your take on it?
So I think we built, I think around 2012 or 13, I think Magento based to say plain vanilla, say you get that open source and customize it. But when you look about, I think currently, I think the employee count rate, I think every 10 people in Carrot Lane, almost 2 people are from product or tech. I think we wanted to be more tech front or like tech empowerment for the brand, right? What we can do about it. So this question about, I think last 3 years before we entirely changed our tech stack, meaning it was in Magento based. I think we put into more like MEN, which we call it as like more React and then Node.js and whatever Ruby on Rails. How do we scale it, right? We always wanted historically grown like every 4 years or 5 years, like 10x. In Carrot Lane history per se, I think even 2017 to 22 also, there is a 10x in terms of the value creation as well as the scale as well. So here, I think we have a lot of partnership. It's not like we only build everything. So we carve out certain things where we have a core expertise in terms of the technology and so customer experience bit, right? What you see in website, native apps, and there is an internal app or the PaaS system which we built, and OneView tool which I talked about, the CRM, right? Which we built it with more art and science plus more passionate about, right? I think grounds up approach, we built it. Plus there are partnership, so where we work with a lot of partners. I think we had an offline conversation. So where we built more like a partnership for the platform to evolve and where we learned with them and we are continuously growing with them as well. So ERP, we are using one vendor team and there is a tool to aggregate all the delivery partners and personalization we use and data analytics also. Yes, we can build, but there is a timeline and what is the ROE, which I mean return on equity or like return on capital and invested, right? That how do we get it? So that's where we carve out the opportunity cost. If it's better and it's going to be working out for 3 to 5 years, let's go and make it. And we also work in one more model as well. I think it's like we get certain experts and merge within the external team and internal team as well, and we try to do that as well.
Got it. Got it. I think that's the benefit of having a large tech team. Not a lot of brands can leverage that, but I definitely take the point that if there are specialists and experts available or technologies available, you should definitely leverage that. I think that's one of the takeaways. I think let's talk about some of the unique features that you have built, especially stuff like assist at home or try at home, or virtual buy-in. Especially from a user experience standpoint, how do you decide what's the right experience for my customers? How much role does technology play in decision making? How much role does the brand team play in decision making when it comes to defining the experience, what you want to give to the consumer? So can you walk us through the thought process on how you take collective decision making?
Sure. So we broadly put into 3 or 4 buckets. I think one is the core infrastructure. I think website or app, what do you want to do, or like the technology decision, right? It will be always with technology. And and marketing, right, where they wanted to do. So traditionally it was like more, say, remarketing or like more programmatic, right? We wanted to more evolve in the content and SEO side of it. How we can control with a rule-based system. So everybody, I think there are a lot of platform and solution they build one platform. How do we control every spend of the marketing, right? That also I think we are trying to do through technology within in-house. So third bit about, I think, experience building, right? So a lot of brands, right, they focus on the data. So they torture the data saying until it is proven, they slice and dice, yeah, it is proven, right? So we, we do to have the same bias saying, yeah, the data is proving, but we also have a alter ego to say, we also look at each journey, customer journey, right? I think, let's say Amit, what is his journey? Why he has come to Carrot Lane, and what time, what are the products he browsed through, what filters he tried, and what other problems and friction he faced through, and there is a model called job to be done theory. So we apply certain things to each individual customer, right? We try to learn the journey and how they are different. And there is a persona as well. What is the different type of people who are coming and how they can solve the problem in terms of their customer experience journey, right? So we do a lot of campaign management. So one of it is like recently we launched the first salary campaign, which was like actually doing very good. So it's about one insight where we get people maybe starting their work in June, July, right? And what are the journey if you look at, right? More young first-time customers who are coming now, so that they are planning in multiple channels, and one of it like jewelry is always an emotional and it's like more rewarding to say, right? If you give it, gift it to your mom and whatever the best gift you get it, right? So that's something I think we focus more on the customer journey study, and each of it, right, we apply it into multiple segments. So data is one side, but more on unique customer insights and journey, right? And we also focus on the friction point. Say when the website is slow, or like are we getting problem because of the vendor partner we integrate. Payment gateway is something we haven't built. If there are any problem, right, we have to be responsible to support or like take care of the customer experience. So all this friction also I think we are trying to do. So more collaborative in the sense like we work on little like a pod model where like the execution or like prioritization will be with the business first, and technology empowered and product prioritized. I don't know, these three combined, right? We try to do prioritization and execute it.
Got it. So Manish, same question to you. In terms of defining the user experience, especially in your D2C sites, how is the decision making taken between technology, product, and the business team? Especially in your case, there are a portfolio of brands within Patanjali as a major brand. How do you define the user experience?
Sorry, like, okay, so can you repeat the question, please? Yeah.
I'll repeat the question. So, in terms of defining user experience on your D2C side, how is
Yeah.
the decision making taken between technology product and the business team in defining what kind of experience you want to give to your end customer?
Okay. So I'll say that the consumer experience or customer experience product should be always good. Either it's like customer going to the retail store or buying the products through the online business. Okay, but if you want to give the leverage to the online business, definitely we take care for like he should be getting the product on time, the delivery, or the product should be on time, should be the right one, what he has selected for, and then the most important thing is that giving him some extra like points. We have our own system of loyalty cards. So when the consumer buy the product through the online business, we gives the extra points to him, so that we can definitely increase the online business. So these are the three things what we take care for.
Got it. Um, I want to quickly touch base on a very important topic, which has become more and more sensitive today, which is the privacy of the customers. Muthukumar, what's your view, and how do you, from a technology standpoint, ensure that the platforms are compliant? How do you ensure the privacy of the customers? How do you comply to the protection laws, which are becoming more and more stringent now?
Sure. I think the problem will be manifold when you have more integrations also when you share the data.
Yeah.
So here in Carrot Lane, I think all the tech stack within that, I think we encrypt with certain data policy and compliance also. And we used to do like every year audit before. Now we changed it to, I think there is a quarterly data audit also. We're trying to see how the journey of the data, I think we are using it, and with vendor partners also, right? What kind of a data and what is their policy as well. And secondly, I think any integration that we are trying to get the complaint point, I think uh, anything on the data erase request, right? I think people are now, I don't want it to be in digital footprint, right? So how do we support that as well? I think even every I mean, big companies, right? I think when you are working with Meta or like Google, they also started putting that. I think you need to be privacy first, and that compliance, right? I think we need to be always treated as a number one priority, and it is also we are taking care of in the UX journey as well. I think we clearly communicate saying what we are trying to store and what is the validity and what is the policy or like how do we support in terms of and when do you want like if there is a erase request, right? And we will also handle it. So it's a very critical thing. I think there are a lot of problems or leaks, I mean customer data leaks which are happening because of I think more when you become a D2C brand, right? It's not about the growth in number of customer, but the protection you give in terms of their data, and then you are not using them for granted, right? And you have to give the best experience as well as I think in a more controlled way, right? So that's something is an important or number one goal for Carrot Lane per se, and we do a lot of investment on the security complaints as well. It's not only the audit and every code or tech stack we are writing it, right? It will always goes through multiple rounds of, there is a tools we invested on the static code analyzer, and then security within internal, there is a team to verify, and externally as well. But it's good to have certain framework, and it's a need of the hour. I think every brand has to focus, and if you have a good technology team and you got an investment, probably you should focus that as a number one priority.
Got it. Manish, your views on security, privacies, and protection related technology interference?
Yeah, so the customer data security is the most important thing because it's a part of the integrity and the value of the company also, and then what kind of value we are giving to our customers also. Okay, so for that definitely we should take, even we are taking all the steps, all the measure as per the GDPR, as per the like regular auditing the websites, regular auditing the data also, keeping the data safe and secure at the different places also, and I'll say that like and nobody would like to go for you if he knows that what all the transaction he is doing with you is not secure. So that is the most important in the online business is the data security because he is making the financial transactions also with you guys. And so if you talk about like doing the marketing, doing running the so many campaigns, so many things, I'll say that data security, customer data security is the most important thing to gain the customer trust and definitely to give the value to the customer also.
Okay. So before we open up for Q&A, one last question to both of you. If there's a wish list that being the technology leaders you would have, uh, be it any domain, the front end customer experience or the supply chain or from a marketing intervention, what would this wish list be in terms of specialist solutions that you would look out in the market, which would give you more and more power to improve or accelerate the brand towards a better online customer experience? What would that wish list be?
So maybe I would go on personalization with more protected data sharing. So see, when you share all the data, and but you can do a lot of personalization, but how do you do with more legally compliant but more personalization on the brand, right? That may be number one in my wish list. Second thing is about this whole customer journey, right? I was talking about data, but how do you do this uh, this journey about, right? When you go through each journey, right? They spend a lot of time in your website or app, right? So how do you build a story? I mean, which is not like more data, right? Just put a slice and dice, right? How do you kind of build a each unique story? What the customer they spent, and for us, I think it's very critical because jewelry as a category, right? 40% of our orders actually be given as a gift. So we always, we treat the gift as, yeah, they have given and we celebrate the moment, but we don't celebrate the amount of effort they spend behind that effort, right? So that's something I think we wanted to portray, but that's something I think this customer journey, right? How do we kind of build? And third is about, I think, technology being more enabler, right? I think our category is like more, we need a lot of empowerment on this trial intent, right? Yes, we do have a lot of these channels. You have stores and you have online, and we are talking about try at home. And there is a live, right? Currently live commerce and social commerce. Better than that, can we do more on this augmented reality? And will that solve the problem of the trial intent? And plus, I think we need to be economically viable. I think we always focus on the growth as one pillar and other side on the efficiency factor. I think we don't go for granted always. We measure ourselves in when there is a revenue growth and we wanted to be profitable as well. But how do we achieve that as well? I think maybe I'll keep it as 1, 2, 3 in my wish list.
Got it. Got it. Manish, your wish list?
Okay. So personalization is the first thing. Second thing is the changes. Like I'll say that like you have the X customer and he is going for the X product. So tomorrow you have to do the offering with the X plus Y also. Like Y adding something into it, like because most of the customer they are looking for the changes and they shift from one product to the another product because of they want the change. So the personalization along with the new offering to him with the new innovations bringing in front of him so that he can select the new things and definitely rather than going for the another product, another company, we should provide him the different type of products with the different type of flavors, with the different type of changes, because mind wants the changes. Everybody wants a change in his life. Like today he's using the X product, definitely he would like to try the Y product also. So we should give him the offering with the Y product also when he is going to the website. So this helps to retain the customer also and helps us to give them the more offerings also. And definitely like we are talking about the AR, VR and so even then definitely it is like greetings to him like what he has bought last time, what he can buy this time also. So these are the so many technologies, so many things, so many offerings we can provide to the consumer to keep him happy also. And second thing is again most important is giving the benefit to the customer because everybody wants a benefit. Like I was hearing the like before I was hearing the conference which was holding before then this giving the discounts, giving the offerings, and these are the things which attracts the customer more also. The same thing we have to do also. So talk about his benefit.
Got it. I'll probably add one of my wish list. I think the day would not be far away when you have the real one view of the customer, whether he's on your platform or any other platform, or even offline, he's shopping in a market at your store. If you get a one view of the customer in order to predict what his next buying is going to be, I think that would be a real game changer. And I think the way technologies are evolving, it's changing the way we shop. It's changing the way the consumers are also changing. So yeah, very excited about the outlook. I'll just open up for Q&A in case you guys have questions for our panel.
Yeah, I'm Girish. My question to Muthu. Muthu, you just mentioned, if I'm not wrong, 85% of your business is going towards online, right? So what do you take on offline stores? Do you focus to increase your offline store, or you focus to invest more on the online? What's your take on that?
Can you just repeat it, just the first part of it?
Sorry. If my understanding is correct, you say 85% of your business is online, right? So how do you put across the offline? Is offline going to offline stores is going to increase, or you're going to invest more on online because your business is towards online? What's your take on that?
So I was stating that it's an online influenced, meaning so traditionally CaratLane was an online company. We started as e-commerce company. We didn't have a store. Until 2017, we were having 17 stores. Now we are having about 135, and we are planned to open stores, I think 250 by end of this financial year. So what I was stating, I think in CaratLane story, we acquire or like reach the customers through digital. I mean, online only we spend more on the marketing. And if you look at, we don't treat online or store differently. We call it as always omni. The acquisition or discovery which happens in online, but the conversion or like it happens at the store. So if you look at it, it will be reverse, meaning more customers who browse through our entire discovery study, right, in online, but they end up buying in stores to get the trial intent or touch and feel, right? They do that. But ideally, we should focus on the category specific. So in our history, I think we were not opening much stores because we wanted to learn until 2017. After that, we learned the model, what we wanted to, and where the customers are coming. So we were going not at the city level, but we were going at the pin code level, where the customer segment they are coming, and what type of the customer segment which we can take it, and what is the catchment, and what kind of a inventory also, right, we were trying to do. So online is like one global store, and each store is like geographically distributed to the customer taste as well as the availability to them. But ideally, I think we should focus more online for the discovery, but conversion, it's better to have your stores as well.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? Cool. I think if there's no more question, we can call it a wrap. Thank you so much, Manish and Mithu.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to the moderator and the two panelists. We have a special memento. We kindly request the moderator to give it away. Can we have the hostess, please? Thank you so much. Thank you so much to both of you for the session. We'd like to appreciate all